On the 8th of March 1950, Volkswagen Transporter was born. Today, 70 years on in 2020, we are celebrating its 70th birthday. So we're going to take a look back through history and see how this van has changed. The Volkswagen Transporter, being in production for 70 years, is the longest production run of any commercial vehicle, and that is some achievement. And to mark this occasion, Volkswagen have released a section of archive pictures. So in the 70 years of production, since 1950, Volkswagen have made more than 13 million transporters. Many of these transporters can be known as a combi, a samba, a microbus. There's the camper, California, the caravel, multivan. There's many different variants of the transporter. The first idea of the Volkswagen Transporter came from a Dutch importer named Pon Bon, who spotted a parts mover when visiting the Beetle factory in 1946 and thought that the idea could be adapted to become a production commercial vehicle. His first sketches emerged in 1947. Innovative concepts included placing the driver right at the front of the vehicle, while the engine was placed at the rear with a rear-wheel drive. The shape was also developed using a wind tunnel in order to reduce fuel consumption and to make it cheaper to run. The first hand-built prototype was produced in just 3 months using a ladder frame chassis in place of the Beetle floor pan, with the production of the first generation, the T1, officially starting in March 1950. It used the engine and gearbox from the Volkswagen Beetle. The Transporter boasted an impressive 750 payload when it was first launched in 1950 as a panel van. In 1951, Volkswagen added the multi-window samba, which had become something of an icon. With its distinctive two-piece windscreen design, the T1 had become to be known as the Splitty by fans all over the world. Its success may have taken Volkswagen by surprise, but it took just 4 years to sell 100,000 examples, and production was shifted from Wolfsburg to purpose-built factory in Hanover in 1956. This reached capacity, and further production lines were added in Brazil, Kassel, Australia, Mexico and Emden. By 1964, over 1 million transporters had been built, and Volkswagen reputably had the largest private sea fleet in the world, with over 80 ships transporting its vehicles globally. By the end of 1967, 1.9 million had been built, and it had become something of a cultural icon in the flower power movement, leading it to become known as the hippie bus. In 1967, along came the Transporter T2, which remained in production until 1979. The T2 was a significant redevelopment of the T1, with the same wheelbase but a longer body and a payload which was increased to 900 kilos. The redesigned front removed the split windscreen to improve visibility, while a more powerful engine and a revised suspension improved the driving experience. Sliding doors became standard equipment to improve space load access, while the T2 was also the first model to be sold as a pop-up roofed camper van, which became an instant success. You could even buy an all-electric version in 1972. In 1971, the Transporter hit the 3 million mark, with 2.1 built at Hanover alone. Extra factories were added in Brazil, Argentina and Yugoslavia. And in fact, the São Paulo plant in Brazil continued to build the T2 right up until 2013, until safety regulations finally killed it off. As such, the T2 holds the record for the longest continuous production of a particular type of vehicle. At the end of production in 1979, the T25 was born, the third generation transporter. The T3, or the T25, was wider, longer and more spacious, although it retained the rear engine, rear-wheel drive layout of its predecessors. Things improved for the T25 when water-cooled engines were introduced, along with diesel engines as well for this model. In 1985, catalytic converters were added, alongside with turbochargers and the all-wheel drive version. The T25 is a model that saw the Caravelle and California become popular, with the Hanover plant building 1.3 million T25s overall, and by 1985 the Transporter was sold in 180 different markets. In 1986, total sales rolled over 6 million. In 1990, the T4 was born, the Volkswagen Transporter T4. The T4 became a revolution to the Volkswagen's medium van. This was the first model production with a now conventional front engine and front wheel drive layout. This allowed for better driving characteristics, a more powerful engine choice, and more practical load space. The T4 was offered in two wheelbases, the long wheelbase and the short wheelbase, and you could also get a choice of the tailgate or the barn doors, along with either one sliding door or two sliding doors. A vast range of models were offered as well, including the panel van, combi, double cab, pickup, chassis cab, single and double cab options, alongside the Caravelle, the multivan, the California. In 1996, the T4 received a facelift, and by the end of its production in 2003, 1.9 million examples had been produced, having set the formula for the Transporter as we know it today. The T5 came into production in 2003 and went on until 2015, and it's described as the evolution of exterior design with greater focus placed on the interior and the driver's workplace. The T5 delivered a choice of petrol and diesel engines, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. It offered a choice of 2 lengths, 3 roof heights, and over 100 different variants in total, making it one of the most versatile vans around in its sector of the market that was becoming increasingly competitive as other brands joined forces to produce their alternatives. The T5 was also the first model that saw the California camper produced in-house at Hanover, making it a fully factory-built camper van for the first time, even if you could buy rival models direct from their respective dealers. Over 1.65 million T5s were built during these 12 years. In 2015, Volkswagen started production of the Transporter T6, and this is a very significant upgrade over the T5. The T6 remained with having the choice of 2 wheelbases and the 3 roof heights. However, this was later dropped in 2018. There were more changes in 2019 when the T6 received a facelift, now the T6.1, which was introduced ahead of going on sale in early 2020. Updates for this include revised interior, a new type of power steering, increased connectivity, and even further efficiency improvements. It's one of the best vans in the medium section, with a range that sketches from basic working vehicles right through to the fancy lifestyle camper vans, not least of which being some of the Californias and Caravelles. You can even buy the two-tone models, paying tribute to the original. So what can we expect in the future with the Volkswagen Transporter? What will the T7 look like? Will there be a T7? However, the next Transporter will be different, as it's based on the same platform as the next Ford Transit Custom, and this follows an alliance between Volkswagen and Ford of their light commercial vehicles. At the same time, Volkswagen will concentrate mainly on people carrying rather than duties of the commercial side. Currently, as we are at the moment in production of the T6, Volkswagen are preparing for the T7. They are preparing its Hanover factory for production of the ID Buzz, the medium-sized electric van that will sit alongside the next generation of Transporter. This is something we look forward to seeing. It's something we want to see. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed this, found it informative and enjoyable. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you all very soon.